Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. How are you guys doing? Welcome for those of you that are live in the chat, and hello to all of those that are catching and recording later. So today's day 2 of the 2-day workshop. And we're going to do another hour. So yesterday we talked, I'll do a little of a recap. Yesterday we talked a little bit about types of intuition, how we can connect and feel with it, how it can benefit our lives by being connected to it and really paying attention to our intuition and connection. Today we're going to start with a visualization, meditation, and then we're going to get into how we can have intuition help in our business and how we can help with decision making as well. And we kind of touched on some of those things yesterday, but really getting into the depth of it and giving you some tools and things that you can utilize in your business to be able to implement. There was something else I want to add. The recordings are also in the group, in the Attractable group, as well as there was something. Oh, I was just going to say Happy Valentine's Day for those that are here. And it's funny, the thought I want to share with everyone is that it's not just about, the person you're in a relationship with. It's about love for you, love for everyone around you, and love for yourself. Like I said, just it's a day of love to share love, your love with those around you, and like I said, yourself. So I also shared in a lot of my groups this morning, including this one, in the discussion group about it was a soul called Joel, and he talks a little bit about just accepting that love. And when we accept that love for ourselves, then we open up space to be able to take in other people and respect people and understand people at in their own journey and what they're going through. So love is pretty powerful. Anyway, I just felt like I wanted to share that message today. It has, well, I was gonna say it has nothing to do with intuition, but it kind of does. Because trusting our intuition is a version of love of ourselves. When we accept this side of us, this inner knowing, this connection that we have within ourselves, we are choosing love for ourselves because we're putting ourselves first. We're going within instead of seeking outside. And that's something else you mentioned in there too. It's just that, we have this practice of or habit of seeking things outside, including love of other people outside of us. And then when we move into this going within and understanding ourselves, we tend to let go of the emotional connection or the heaviness, the meaning that we give that we need to have it from other people. We need to have that understanding, that even acceptance of others. When we're on our journey, either in your business or in your personal life, where you're connecting to what you truly love, we get caught up in that thought of, oh, what are other people going to think? And how does that, what I'm doing impact them? And we look for their acceptance. But when we truly love ourselves and we go within and we're listening to our own intuition, which is our higher guidance, this understanding with ourselves, then that is a very beautiful form of love of ourselves. And we let go of the need to have other people's acceptance and love and understanding. And we embrace ourselves fully. So it's a very actually true version of love of ourselves. Anyway, so before we get started, yesterday for homework, I suggested that you find a question that you're trying to understand, you want to have awareness of, or seeking an answer for, whether it's in your personal life, in your business. What is it that you're looking for clarity on, what you're looking for awareness, what you would love to have an answer in? And I suggested to find, like, we might have a couple of answers, and you're totally okay to have a couple of answers. But start with the one that's going to move the needle the most, the one that's going to make the biggest impact for you. And just see what comes through. And before we start, I just want to share that sometimes awareness or an aha, a thought, an answer comes in multiple different ways. It could be, like I said, a thought or a feeling or a vision of something, depending upon the type of intuition you have and how you see it or feel it within you. But again, I just want you to trust whatever comes through in this visualization, in this experience, this meditation, to just allow that to be the right thing. Allow that to be the answer, to trust what comes through in whatever way, shape, or form. And don't give it any judgment. And sometimes we're like, I don't know what this really means, but just be open to receive. That's the intention I would love for you to set for this. Just be open to receive. And sometimes even we may not receive a message at all. And that doesn't mean you're not connected. It doesn't mean that you can't get an answer. Sometimes we receive the message later. It could be later throughout the day, a couple days from now, or it could be through other people. And it's not that, it's other people's opinions or other people's input, but somebody might say something to you that you're like, oh, that makes sense, or oh, that's a sign, or oh, that's clarity for me. And allow that to be the answer and trust that that's the right thing as opposed to giving a judgment of, oh, well, that's somebody else's opinion. And I had this conversation with somebody yesterday that even other people's feedback of like, I was sharing with my business with some people about what I'm doing. And I have a title I'm creating for something I'm beginning to unfold and launch, and a name for it. And I was seeking other people's, not opinion, but feedback of what their impression of those words meant to them. And I had somebody share that they're like, oh, well, it doesn't really sit well with them. It doesn't feel like the right words. And even that was feedback for me, because what happened was when they shared that, it hit me of like, ooh, I think it's right for me though, even though they are not okay with it, it doesn't feel right for them. It solidified the idea of that it's right for me. So even that is feedback of, even though somebody doesn't agree with you and where you're going and what you're doing, allow those. And again, just going back to what awareness you have from it or what understanding you have from this meditation is, just allow whatever comes through to be feedback, and don't give it meaning of like, oh, I shouldn't do this or I need to do this or whatever. Just allow it to resonate and sit for a minute and see what feels right for you. I keep coming back to saying it feels right because that's how I feel it within me. But like I said, all of you have your own experience in it. So you'll feel, or you'll know, or you'll be aware of, or you'll, any one of these words, whatever resonates the most with you. So bring to your conscious awareness the question that you want. So think about the question that you want to ask, and then, but go through this experience. We'll take a moment afterwards to journal a little bit. So I will share the music. And I would love for you to just get comfortable in your chair. Can you guys hear that? Fabulous, thank you. So get comfortable in your chair, sit back, beautiful deep breath in, fill your lungs fully, and sigh that out. And going back to what we talked about yesterday, that mindfulness, even working with your breath, getting that beautiful deep breath in, closing your eyes, brings you within you, out, and it brings you back to your center. So take another beautiful deep breath in. Release your shoulders and relax. And one more beautiful deep breath in, allowing your body to just relax. Now shift your focus to the sensations in your body. Become aware of where the seat connects to your body and supports you. Notice how your feet touch the floor, your hands in your lap. And as you continue your breath to a regular rhythm, let go of any remaining tension or stress or things that you're holding on to. Now I want want you to imagine a warm golden light above your head. This light represents a wisdom that resides within you already. And with each breath, allow that golden light to continue down, around, and over your body. Allowing that light to just envelop you and surround you. And on your breath, bring that breath in. Bring in that light and allow it to just bring this sense of tranquility, assurance, wisdom, safety. And on your next breath, I want you to bring this vision of a tranquil garden to the screen of your mind. Picture the vibrant flowers that surround you. The beautiful tall trees as they blow in the gentle breeze. And the birds and nature that surrounds you. This is your inner sanctuary, where you get to connect with that inner wisdom, your intuition. Now notice there's a pathway that leads you to a quiet spot in the garden. Follow that path. And as you step into it, feeling the soft earth beneath your feet. And as you continue down the path, set an intention to receive guidance for either your personal life or your business. Be open to receive whatever messages are meant for you. And as you come to the end of the path, you notice this beautiful seat waiting for you. Take a moment to settle into it. Feeling comfort, feeling supported, feeling at ease. Take another beautiful deep breath in. Bring that question that you had before to your mind. Whether it's related to a challenge, a business decision, or anything else. And just allow a few minutes here for the answer to come through to you. trust any answers, thoughts, awareness, or images that may come through. If you feel compelled to ask any more questions for clarity or understanding, go ahead. This inner sanctuary is a limitless source of wisdom. And when you're ready, express gratitude for any guidance or awareness you've received. And picture this golden light once again, surrounding you, infusing you with clarity and confidence. Now slowly bring your awareness back to this present moment. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes. We'll take a moment just to write down anything that came through. Reflect on any insight. And know that you can always return to that sanctuary whenever you need guidance. was that? Helpful? Any thoughts? You don't need to share the insights, but if you have any, share anything about your experience, that would be beautiful. It's okay. And just know that, like I said, that you can always go back to that space and get whatever insight you need and understanding awareness. Beautiful. So, here's Christine. Connecting to intuition with your business. And this is how we can utilize this with our business is very powerful. So I have a podcast where I've interviewed people that are on their spiritual journey or on their journey in their business or whatever. And I could tell you that even through my own business, I've seen how powerful connecting with your intuition and allowing it to come through in your business. And again, going back to the thought that we began with was that, you know, this intuition is here to guide you on your truest, smoothest path and where you're meant to go. So knowing that, why wouldn't we want to apply that to our business? Because it's giving you the direction that you need in this moment. Instead of asking for everyone else's opinion on what you should be doing, when you trust that feeling within you and it feels very aligned, it feels like, oh, this is exactly what I'm meant to do. It's leading you on your purpose. And like I said, when I've done interviews with people who have allowed their intuition to become part of their business and help them make business decisions, or when they utilize it in their practices and all that they do, magic happens because of that alignment, because of that understanding. Instead of being in resistance and fighting and trying to figure it out, going back to the words that we use of trying to figure it out, pushing and making the hustle and the grind, when you're using your intuition, you're in a state of flow because it is aligned, and then it becomes easier. Instead of trying to figure out what if you already have the answers within you, you're like, what do I do next? I don't know what to do next. And even like I said, when you connect with other people, and even though they might share insight or their opinions, we don't need to take those as law. Like I shared earlier, of like, you know, somebody said this isn't, the words weren't the right words for them. And you know what? It's not their business. It's okay if it's not okay with them. But it gave me insight. And every person that I've connected with in the last few weeks about my business has given me clarity in some way, shape, or form, whether they were on board or not. Their feedback gave me clarity. And it's not so much that they told me what I needed to do next, but it's they gave me an aha moment, a thought, an understanding, and then I was able to use that in my business. That thought, that clarity, that, oh, this is an adjustment if I need it, these types of things. And when we start trusting these insights, these aha moments, and we allow them to be part of what we're doing, it creates flow, and it takes the pressure off of needing to figure it out, of needing to know all the answers. It releases the struggle that we hold on it, the power that we give the struggle. And when we're aligned with that feeling or that intuition, that knowing within, we let go of some of that stress that we feel and the pressure. And when you just trust that the right answers are going to come to you in the right moment, because sometimes we feel like, again, I'm working with some beautiful souls, and we're going through, last month we did a success mastery workshop, and we've created a success master circle and helping us create our goals for the next, 90 days. We're creating a 90-day action plan. And we're helping each other and supporting each other along this journey. And one thing we talk about is the fact that this 90-day action plan isn't set in stone, because we're going to have our intuitive and like insights. We're going to have moments where we're going to need to adjust and pivot. And so it's accepting that idea that there is a flow and an ebb in your business. And then it's going to move and be different. Even though you create a plan, it's not concrete. You can take adjustments, but sometimes we feel like we need to know all of the things first. We need to see the entire ladder or stairs, entire set of stairs, each step along the journey in order to get where we're going. But that's not true. We just need to know what's at the top of the stairs and see our next step. And when we use our intuition to tap into, you're like, oh, I don't even know what my next step is. This is where we can utilize some business tools. Things like using our intuition to make decisions. We're not quite sure what the next step is. Doing an exercise like we just did, this visualization, to find an answer. We could do mind mapping, which is like a brain dump of all of the things, or like write down the thoughts, and one thought will lead to the next. Right? Where we start with a thought and one thought will lead to the next idea and the next idea and the next idea and the next thing. We're just writing it all down. We start with one idea, but we don't let any of the options, or we don't let the options be the thing that's holding us back. It's like, oh, I can't do that. No. Write down all of the ideas first, and then see which ones feel right, or which ones are aligned, or which ones make sense to you. Journaling is another beautiful business tool. Again, it's like we're writing down the thoughts. There's brain dumping, usually with business, where you're overwhelmed with all the things that we need to do. But again, going back to that success mastery circle that we're working in, we set an intention weekly of what we want our goal to be. And we do that by feeling our intuition. What do we feel is our next step? What would we love in the next week? And we set that intention. And by setting an intention, we're energetically aligning with what we want. But sometimes we're not quite sure what that is. So when you journal and you start writing it out, you express it in some way, then you find the right thing, or you'll notice something, or you'll say something, or you'll have an idea and awareness just by expressing the thoughts. Because sometimes we get caught up in here and we're like, oh, I don't know, in the negative whirlwind, versus just allowing the thoughts to come and being open to receive whatever thought comes down. And when you're journaling or you're mind mapping, you're writing it all out. So you just allow the thoughts to come. Another one too is collaboration. Again, another reason why I have a success master circle is because sometimes we don't have all the answers. We don't know our next step. But kind of like mind mapping of like, what about this? What about this? And you're thinking about, oh, this is one way, and this is another way, and this is another way. Sometimes we get stuck in our own vision of where we're going, and we can't see other options. But when we connect with a community, we connect with other people, and we share our thoughts, other people can help us, give us the ideas that we don't see because we're in it. There's one story, I don't have the details, I shared it on Saturday, but it's called the 333 story. And it was the gentleman, and I I couldn't remember his name on Saturday too, but he does the chicken soup for the soul. Anyway, him and a couple other people, there was a hurricane that had gone through, or just maybe it was a tornado, anyway, through just near Toronto, and devastated a whole community. And they decided they wanted to do a fundraiser for this community. And they said, we want to raise $3 million in 3 days, in 3 hours. And they gathered a group of all other people together, and they said, okay, let's brainstorm an idea, or mind map an idea of how we can make this happen. And they said, they wrote at the top, they wrote 333. So they wanted to raise $3 million in 3 days, in 3 hours. And the people are looking at them like, you guys are nuts. How is this going to even happen? We can't make that happen. It's impossible. But when they wrote the name down, and then they wrote on the piece of paper, or they wrote the goal down, and they wrote on the piece of paper, there's 2 things. This is the ways that works, or these are the ideas that don't work, and these are the ideas that do work. And then they took that space that said, these are the ideas that don't work, and put a big X in that space and said, listen, we're not going there. We're not going to go there at all. What we want to do is we want people to come up with ideas of ways that will work. And each time it works, like we come up with an idea, we'll write it down, and we'll entertain the idea no matter how crazy it sounds. And as soon as somebody says, well, that's not going to work, because we're going to just say next, we're going to move on to the next idea. And we're just going to brainstorm together, because when you collaborate together, It's not just you and the people in the room, it's you and the energy of that room and the people in that room that create another mind, another idea, another flow, and create energy together and momentum. So when you collaborate in your business with other people, and they don't even need to be in the same business as you, because usually what will happen is when you connect with other people, they're going to have different experiences, different ideas, different perspectives, different thoughts, different um, way of looking at things from their own experiences, different resources that they can pull from. So they're going to give you ideas that you wouldn't have even entertained. So having this big group of people for them to do this mind or brainstorming together was powerful, because they came up with an idea. They're like, well, somebody suggested, well, let's do a radioathon across Canada. And they're like, somebody was automatically, well, we don't have any connections. Like, not the radio at the time they did that. The radio stations weren't even connected. Like, there was no one or two or multiple. They were all at different, their own individual stations. And they said, listen, we're not talking about how we can't, we're talking about how we can. So they wrote that idea down, and they ended up getting 3 days, and 3 days later, in 3 hours on the radio with a couple of major anchors that they never thought they would get, they raised over $3 million because they entertained ways that it would work and not the ways that it wouldn't. And this is what, when we collaborate, when we connect with other people, it gives us an opportunity to be open-minded. But I would just suggest, don't, even when you do your own brainstorming and mind mapping for your own business, don't focus on how it won't work. Focus on the ways that it will work and continue that momentum. So how can we utilize it? And our intuition is the idea. It's the creation of that. It's what gives us the ideas, the aha moments, right? So, and then when we have ideas, the next step is taking action on them. And again, this is something else we're working on in our group, this Success Mastery Circle, because we've seen it. We set an intention, we set a goal, and people will take action on it. And because of that, the next step appears. And this is what I mean. We don't need to know all of the steps in the journey. We just need to know our next step. And then once you take that action towards that next step, something else, awareness, feedback, whatever you need, the resources you need will start showing up because you're taking action. The universe loves action and will repay with more insight, more understanding. Sometimes we hesitate because we don't know all of the things we need to know to get there. We don't need to know them all. But when you start taking action, and this is like when we get into that, when you make a decision towards something, take action towards it. Quick, when you're listening to your intuition and you're like, oh, I have a thought, don't hesitate on it. Just take action on it and see how it works out. Because this is what happens. We feel that first thought, like we talked about earlier yesterday, when we have that first thought come in, we're like, oh, okay, the first thought is this. And then if we allow it time, we allow time for fear to enter. So then we're like, oh man, I don't know. The doubt starts creeping in, the fears start creeping in. You start coming up with ideas of why it won't work. But if you have an idea come in, make a decision, take action on it right away, and then it gets rid of that doubt, the overthinking. You don't have time to overthink. You're taking action, you're moving towards it. And whether it's the right one or not, I always make sure that I decided that all of my decisions are the right ones. What if they all were the right ones? And I say, even if it's not, it doesn't work out. The thing is that I get feedback from it. Like I said, when I left that other community that I was working with and I started doing my own business, I was trying different things and I was trying to figure it out. And I did have some of the struggle and I did have some of the hustle and grind because I was using more of my head than my heart. But some of it felt right. So I took action on it. But even when I didn't, or I took action on it and it didn't work, it gave me feedback. Well, that's not the way. Again, this come up with all of the ways it might work. And I'll try one way. And I'm like, oh, that's not the way. I'll try another way. But another way will reveal itself when I start taking action and go, try that way. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't work. But by taking action on it, if I hadn't taken action on it, I wouldn't have gotten the feedback. I wouldn't have gotten the awareness that, oh, that's not the way. So we can utilize our intuition and make decisions and whatever, and just take action on the thing that we feel might be the right way. We'll never know until we try. So can you guys think of a decision that you've made in the last little while and reflect on whether you use your intuition or we solely use logic? I used to always make decisions I would literally write down the pros and cons. Let's make the decision up here consciously. And we use our own experiences through it, but most of the time we don't know. We can't guarantee the experience. We just rely on our own past memories of what has happened in the past. And because of that, we recreate another experience similar to it. But if we just followed our heart, took action on it, what if we could just play with a feeling of what if it does work, and let go of, oh, well, these are all the reasons why it won't work because I've experienced this before. And as soon as we start entertaining those ideas, we're recreating the past. But what if we just acted on it? And because we acted on it in an energy of what if this works? In a really good energy. And because of that, and you didn't go back into the memory of, oh, this didn't work last time, or the last time I tried something similar, or even the last time I tried, it didn't work. And it might not even be the same experience, but you're recreating the same thing. So we're just if you take action, you don't even give yourself a chance to go back there. You start creating a new future, a new opportunity, a new reality. When was the last time you guys acted on something, made a decision? If you want to put it in the chat or share, just raise your hand. And did you use your intuition or did you use your conscious thinking, logical mind? And how did it work out? Any thoughts? You can drop in the chat if you want to raise your hand. If you'd like. You don't have to. Go ahead, Kara. Thank you.
Something very simple that you already know that I did. Just driving by the place I used to go for working out, I was just like, it wasn't even a thought process. My heart was just like, you need to get back into going to see your personal trainer, and I did it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my heart, because before I was always driving by, oh well, you know, I can't bring Maverick or this that. So I just walked in with Maverick. Hey, it's okay if my dog comes. Sure, great. So worked out.
Yeah. And before it was like you let the other thoughts of past experiences, other things you've had come in and be like, oh, well, no, it won't work out this way.
Don't work out. I don't have the time. I can't drive 45 minutes to town once a week. And you know what? I did and I can.
You entertain the idea of what if, and look what happened.
Yeah.
And now you've gone there, you've had a beautiful experience with your dog with you, which they allowed and were open to, which is amazing.
Yep.
And even he had a good experience. He got to chill the whole time.
He slept in the kettlebells. Like, he just thought this was great.
So like just use that, and then going back to the using our intuition by following the feeling of the idea, and then you're then creating evidence of, oh, look how that worked out when I followed my intuition, when I followed what felt right for me. You create more evidence, which creates more trust and belief. Powerful. Thank you for sharing. Excuse me. And this is how we build trust, when we're coming back to the trusting our instincts, trusting our intuition. We start with paying attention, being self-aware, practicing. And when we practice, when we have an experience, it creates validation of where we're going and what we're doing. Start with small decisions. Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat now. Let's start with small decisions. It could be easy things. And use that yes or no that we practiced yesterday. Where do you feel it in your body? And then which one's a yes, which one's a no? Try that first. Little things. But every time you go to make a decision, even if it's like, should I wear these pants or these pants today? Go with what feels right. Go with that connection you already have within you. Just to practice. Start with little things, little decisions. Am I going to go this way or this way? Give yourself yes or no questions. Yeah, go ahead, Penny. Thank you.
This may not have like 100% of what you're talking about, but I've got two things that happened in the last month that kind of might have set me on a different path. So, I like we talked about me and the journals and stuff like that, and I was trying to find someone that would bind them, but all the shipping costs and everywhere would just I would never make any money by the
Mhm.
time they bind it and then ship them to me. Well, I found a place 20 minutes from my house that binds them, prints them
Mhm.
and binds them. And then I'm getting into the beads or whatever. And again, the shipping cost was just going to be atrocious. And I was on Facebook, and the place where I used to get my stuff for my sublimation business in Shelburne come right across my feed. I
Mhm.
hadn't seen anything of hers in like 3 or 4 years, and it was just right there in front of me.
Mhm.
It was crazy. And she has everything I need.
And this is what I mean by we may not receive the answer in the moment when you're like, oh, okay, these things aren't working, right? Like I can't do it here, but you didn't close out that it's never going to happen. You gave up. You kept the idea and entertaining the idea, and it came through another way. And it's like when we do that visualization, it may not come in that moment that you're like, okay, this doesn't work. I need to find a way right now. But you were open to receive it in a different way. And then the way showed up. It may have not have been through your own intuition, but it was through your opportunity of being open for it. And you hadn't shut the idea down in general. And this is because this is what usually happens. We're like, you know what? This is one way and it can't work. And old habits would be like, no, I'm done. But you were entertaining, well, it's not going to work this way. Okay, well, now I know. Feedback is it's not going to work that way. What if there's another way? And even that is following your intuition, being open to receive. Other than the fact that, like I said, you old practice probably would have been, you know what? I guess I have to do something different. So that's it. Exactly. Any other questions? This is kind of, we're getting to the point where I've kind of touched on all the things I wanted to cover. Any questions before we move on to, there's some, I want to do a little bit of reflection here, summarize a few things, but any questions that may have come up? And yes, there is a recording for both days. It's in the Attract Well app, or if you can't find it there, let me know. So how can you utilize your intuition, things that we've worked on over the last 2 days, for further guidance? What about some other decisions that are coming up, or situations that you are working on? How can you allow your intuition and then to guide you? And then as you go through them, take note of how you allowed your intuition to come through. You followed what felt right, or you just used your yes or no. Observe the outcome. And then pay attention to any lessons you learn from it. Again, creating an evidence journal of when you use your intuition, how does that work out versus when you use your logical processes. And then as well, always I'm here for your support, your further guidance. So if you have any questions, even today or later today or tomorrow, feel free to reach out. You have a connection to me, either through Facebook or an email or whatever. I'm also sending you guys, after I finish today's session, you'll get an email, and I'm giving you a gift of, I have a free guide of just how to unlock your intuition. Some of you may have received it already, but I'll make sure everybody gets it. And then I want to share with you that as you go through this process, I mean, this is a process. And if this is something that you'd like to continue to learn more and express more, and understand in a deeper way, I am opening up an opportunity in the next few weeks to just learn about your intuition, to give you further tools, further guidance, and further support for you to continue this journey. So I had, some of you may know that I have a Soul's Journey program. That was a program I created last year. It has 3 modules. So one's intuition, one in each module is a month learning. It's intuition, and then healing, any healing that you need to have, inner healing, and then on your purpose. And so before I was doing it all at once, going through each, as people would have to go through it in the program in a journey, because it is a journey. But I'm breaking it up into separate modules so that for 4 weeks at a time, I'll break it into the modules, and you can do, like I said, you can just learn and understand intuition individually, because I know everybody's at a different part in their journey. And some people may have already be connected to their intuition. Some people may want the healing understanding part of it, right? So if this is something you want to continue to step into, there's an opportunity in the next few weeks, and I'll make sure to share that with you as well, to be able to have that opportunity. So there's all kinds of ways to continue to support yourself through this process, but I just want to encourage you to continue to practice, continue to allow to play, use it to play with. Like I said, ask yourself those yes or no questions. Ask for further guidance, because you have every answer you need within you. Your intuition is always, in my opinion, is always leading you down the right path. And when we utilize that, when we connect with that idea, and we learn to trust it, magic happens. Like I said, I've seen it time and time again. We have this gift within us, this intuition, this instinct. And when we utilize it in our day-to-day, it creates flow. It creates love for ourselves. It creates trust within ourselves. It's transformational. It's powerful. And you have that power within you. And you get to tap into it whenever you want. The confidence that comes when you utilize your intuition and trust yourself and know where you're going to go and what you're going to do makes a difference. And it's easier to allow other people's judgment, other people's opinions to kind of roll off when you're like, no, I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing. You have that confidence. What would it feel like to have that? Go ahead, Penny.
You need to do a workshop on how to step out of your comfort zone.
Ew, I love it.
Yeah, because that is something that I know myself I struggle with. And as you know, with the self-talk and stuff like that, and just how to like go on TikTok and do videos or whatever, like how to step out of your comfort zone, as you were just saying, and stop worrying about what other people think. Like it's not easy.
No.
How to build that confidence.
Well, that's one of the things actually that we are kind of, I believe Kara's in our success mastery circle. And I believe that we're kind of doing that, right? So we're doing some of that as stepping out of our comfort zone and really challenging ourselves. But I appreciate your feedback of that's definitely an opportunity or something that I'd be happy to support people with. It's powerful. And it's not easy, but it's having support, having some accountability, because we're like, ugh. That's the other thing we create with the circle is accountability. We set goals and then we're like, okay, now we got to go do them. And it's helpful to have a community, some people around you to do that. So I appreciate that. That's something I will take into consideration and see when I can find time for, because that would be fun. Thank you. Any other thoughts, questions? What are your takeaways? What are your aha moments? I'd love to hear. Anything in particular? Go ahead.
I really like the visualization.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know, there's a place in Hunter River. It's called Garden of Hope, I think.
Yeah.
So every time you do a visualization, that's exactly where I am.
I love that.
So, I don't know if have you been there before?
I'm aware of where it is, but what?
Yeah, it's by the Preserve Company.
I haven't actually been in it. I've driven by it many, many times, but yeah.
Yeah, so it might be changed now because of the Fiona. But every time you have a visualization, there's a river and there's hawks, like bald eagles. They have a garden there and they have bunnies and just amazing. So when I'm in there, That's usually where I go. And today, because I was struggling with a couple things, and right away it was just like, it's like, no, no, this is the path. 100%, this is the path. Instead of,
Mm.
and before I got on that visualization, I'm always like back and forth. Oh, because what could go wrong? What
Mhm.
comments that other people say, and all that just gets clouded.
Mhm.
But when you do like when you visualize it, you're just like, no, no, this is the right path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you're paying attention to that guidance, that knowing within.
yeah.
And you're, like you said, you're clearing the clouds of all the other stuff away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so you should check out that place. And that's where maybe I should be going and doing my visualization when I'm in PEI.
Yeah, well, for sure. But like you said, your imagination, your mind does not know the difference between being there in reality or being there in your imagination. You've already created the
True.
picture.
Right. That's true.
Like I said, you go there, you already do it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's true.
going there in person is just is going to be nice, and then an opportunity next time you're home. But anyway,
Yeah.
love that. Thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
I'm gonna have to go now too.
You're gonna have to go. It's beautiful.
Driven by it
Um,
like a million times, but I've never actually been in.
I wouldn't say it's open now, but in the
No,
summer it's open.
yeah, exactly. So if anybody else is here on PEI, we've got a beautiful spot apparently that I just keep driving by. So now I'm setting an intention this summer. I'm going for sure. Thank you. Anybody else have anything they want to share before we go? Any questions, aha moments, takeaways? The recording for both days are in the, like I said, in the Attract Well workshop, and I'll make sure everybody, I'll email out the information for the links and stuff like that. So you can go back through it. So this is yours. You can go back through this recording anytime. You're so welcome. Well, and like I said, if there's anything that comes through over the next few days, feel free to, the chat is going to be live in that group as well. So feel free to share any questions, any thoughts in the chat. Or if you have anything that you want to directly reach out to me too, that's quite all right. But other than that, have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.